already said I thought she was there.
Is this different than the one you said?
Thanks, Bill. Did you think I was going to put up a big effort?
You can take it 10 and 10.
I still love y'all.
This is gonna give the headaches from people coming in.
What is going on?
You lose the connection?
I think we're still online.
Yeah,
I
we'll
just
have dinner.
cast it a second ago and it was up there.
Sorry, I didn't bring napkins. There are paper
Gee,
towels if
water.
you need ones out there.
You want some water?
Still up here.
I know.
Oh, they're still there.
Yeah.
I can hear
They're
you.
just
Thank
not up.
We're trying to reconnect our technology.
Ready?
Mhm.
William Culver,
Present.
Bill Gittens,
Here.
Sally Monroe,
You mean Jenny
or
Monroe?
Jenny Monroe. Excuse me.
I'm here.
Again, it has been a day. Jenny Monroe,
Here.
Sally Ricciardi,
Here. Here.
and Rich West.
Present.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have approval of the October 27th regular meeting minutes?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then I also have approval of the October financial reports.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, we'll get started with the third reading of ordinance 2020-006, an ordinance regulating the use of golf carts within Culver town limits. We've been through 2 other readings. I think the only sticking point to this point is the fee. So Sally, have you changed your mind?
No.
Or have any of you 3 changed your mind?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I'll honor a motion to pass this on third read.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Actually, I think with Sally on the phone, you have to specifically ask her.
Okay.
Yes.
Sally, are you an aye or a nay to passing this on third read?
I'm nay.
She came on.
Nay.
Sally, are you there?
I'm here, but I can't. I'm here, but I can't hear you.
Are you
but
a
I
nay?
can't hear you, but I'm a nay.
We're doing third read of the ordinance for a golf cart. Did you say nay or yay?
Nay. Nay.
Okay, and I'm a nay still, but it passes on third read. And then for third read of ordinance 2020-008, which is regulating the use of animal-drawn vehicles. Do I have a motion to approve that one on third read?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Sally, are you in favor or against the horse-drawn, animal-drawn vehicles? I'm sorry.
I'm a nay.
Okay, I am as well, Karen. Okay, thank you, Sally. Next on the agenda, we have a public hearing for ordinance 2020-001. This is for our additional appropriations. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing, please?
So moved. Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sally, do you approve of opening the public hearing with a yay or nay?
Aye. I'm an aye. I'm in favor.
Sally, yay or nay for opening the public hearing?
Yay.
It says I don't know if it's low internet speed or something, but it's
So we've got
having
to,
some try switching microphones. Yeah. Sally, is that any better? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. You don't hear me.
I was gonna say, do you want me to put her on my cell phone?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay. Sorry, folks.
Let me try just going to my laptop.
Probably needs to hear the public hearing. Yep.
Hey, Sally, can you hear me now?
I've been able to hear you. You
Oh,
just
okay.
don't hear me.
Okay, so are you a yay or a nay on opening the public hearing?
I'm a yay. In
Okay, thank you,
favor.
Sal. Public hearing is open.
Do you want me to explain?
Yep.
Okay. So we need to do an additional appropriations because we have overspent or anticipate overspending several budgets. In the first budget, it's $138,000 for COVID special business grants that were awarded earlier in the year, and then $85,000 for Stellar, and that's money that we originally had budgeted for next year, but we need this year. The EMS, $25,000 for salaries, $25,000 for equipment, which is again money that we anticipated, we originally budgeted for next year, but we'll like to use this year. The fire department. Having a negative balance, gift fund to the additional appropriations, and I'll ask to transfer the money. Are there any questions?
Any questions from the public? We have a paper signing. Yes. Okay, no questions from the public? Okay.
Second.
Are there any questions online?
No.
Rich has motioned to close the public hearing then. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Sally? Aye or nay
Aye.
to close?
Aye.
Thank you, Sally. All right, so that, I'll honor a motion to pass the additional appropriations on first reading.
Second, third.
Start with first.
So moved. Second.
All in favor on approving additional appropriations in ordinance 2020-001? Aye.
Aye.
Sally?
Aye.
Thank you. Since we had no comments from the public and a 5-0 vote on first read, honor a motion to suspend the rules and pass this on second and third read.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Sally?
Aye.
Thank you. All right. You're welcome. Next, we have first reading of ordinance 2020-12 or 012. This is the 2021 salary ordinance. Do you want to summarize that at all? I know we've already been through a bunch of meetings on this.
Pretty much it reflects, for the salaried employees, it reflects a 2% rate, 3% raise. And for the hourly, it's a range, but anticipating approximately a 3% raise for the employees as well. So hopefully y'all have a chance to look it over. And we're fine. We can still make some adjustments to the hourly rates, but for the salary, those are pretty much set.
Okay. Honor a motion to pass ordinance 2020-012 on first read.
There's no public hearing for this.
Okay. So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sally?
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Just because it's a salary ordinance, can we do second read next time?
Absolutely good.
Great, thank you. All right, so we'll move on to park survey.
Amber's gonna talk about that.
Okay,
If anyone wants, I do have some of the extra ones. I know you guys all want those copies. I also have the,
Yeah, I read that.
you guys have one? You guys have anyone?
I'll take a hard copy if you have an extra.
Yep.
Your electronic. Thank you.
And then I also have the paper ones at hand if anyone wants to see those. So I know you guys saw most of it, but we did have a pretty good response rate, 230 online with 15 in person. The questions after that, can you hear me? The questions after that are a little bit difficult to interpret because people are ranking each individual one through 10. So the first one, we are asking everyone to kind of get a feel on what they would like to do with those additional grant dollars, thanks to Marshall County Crossroads Sellers Communities designation. My analysis, my quick response, of course, as you can see as a first choice, there was a significant number of people that were in favor of replacing the playground equipment near the Lions Club Depot and having the West Pavilion area with modern equipment. We know that a lot of the equipment, at least at Cavalier Park, which is the natural and creative play structures, have been a huge hit. So that's kind of the theme you're looking at there. I mentioned that 70% of the respondents put this one as their top choice. So I think that's pretty undeniable numbers right there. The next highest number for the number one priority was the installing pickleball and shuffleboard courts. So we're kind of looking into outdoor activities that a lot of our older citizens can participate in. You will see though, there's a little bit of a drop off after the first choice. So I'm assuming a lot of those residents or citizens that are taking this survey were in favor of the first choice, and then there was just kind of a drop off after that. Then moving on to the next part, and you guys can read the details that I have written in my analysis. The next big question was asking people how they wanted to see us utilize the old apartment section that we haven't completed yet here in the Beach Lodge. Once again, there was an obvious first choice for everyone, that being the additional park programming and facility rental space. That first one, 56.5% of the respondents put this as their first choice. And then you can also notice that 85.6% of respondents put this as one of their top three choices. So once again, you have to kind of look at each individual one from each 1 through 10 option. After that, the second highest priority was office space for the Culver, the AHS at 14.8%. And then you see a drop off after the first response though, and you can kind of see that the office space for the Culver Lake Maxicali Visitor Center, 71.7% of respondents put it as a top three priority. And then with a very large jump to 36.5% as the second choice. So I looked at each one from a perspective of where we should rank at least the top three choices for each one. You can kind of look at the numbers after that, because like I said, you have to look at every single one from 1 through 10. And if anyone wants those specific numbers, I do have it electronically. It doesn't list each percentage for each one on here. Outside of that, I did provide some additional comment from the additional comments that people have given. One of the things that stood out to me, the words dog or dog park were mentioned 17 times in the additional comments. So these are people going out of their way, just having their own ideas and providing their own comments. So I thought that was interesting. I have had a lot of people approach me at least and note this as something that they're really interested in, something to keep in mind for the long term. Other than that, I just had mentioned that green space or just open space was mentioned in the additional comments as well. I know there's a lot going on here in just our 5-acre park, so I think some people would like to see just some open space. We get a lot of people that come to this area as it is, you know, the center of the town. So I think we should focus on that long-term planning and being very intentional with what we do. Does anyone have any questions?
I think it's great that you did this. You never know where the residents are gonna fall.
Yeah, it was interesting. It really
interesting.
is, the numbers are interesting if you can look at the specific percentages for every single one. Luckily, you can see the transition of the colors a little bit, which helps visually, but seeing the numbers as well helps with interpreting the data a little bit more.
Yeah, that last question, concerts gets the most response,
Yeah.
and that was such a popular event.
Yeah, which we do a lot of, so I thought it was interesting,
Yeah.
so many people.
It's like they want even more,
Maybe
they like
because
it.
they like it a lot and they've seen it happening, that it comes to mind. But yeah, that one was a significant one for the programming, additional programming.
Outdoor movie nights and health and fitness are right up there too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is great. It's-
That's a nice job, Amber.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks to Jonathan as well. I can't take all the credit, but.
Terrific.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Well, that should help us making decisions anyway,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. It's very helpful. Yeah, thanks to everyone that took it. I mean,
Yeah.
245 people is a pretty big number.
That's a
around here,
great
so.
response. Okay, next we have a regional stellar plan update.
The only thing I had really, well, at least when I wrote the report, was on the sign project, the electronic message board sign that we'll receive about 28,000 in grant funding for that project. We had an option to do an upgrade to a higher resolution, and after speaking with Rich and some of the redevelopment commission members, we're going to put that on the agenda for their upcoming meeting to discuss if they want to pay for that upgrade.
Okay,
But other than that, yeah, we've got our 2 quotes for it and moving forward with that out of on the school property at the end of School Street.
After individually sampling the CRC members, I think there's strong support for their funding the additional up to $6,000, which would be the installation cost and the upgrade.
yeah, and according to Shannon McLeod, who's doing the grant administration, it's looking like the county has signed off on contracts, et cetera, but that the signs will arrive by end of year, and then install and all of that will take place in 2021. And the upside of that is Marshall County Tourism put $20,000 into this project as well as the grant, and they're helping to pay for those extra costs that go beyond the grant amount, and they were wanting to release that money in 2021. So timing wise, I think Shannon kind of nailed it, between the vendors getting their part done and all the towns getting their part done. So that's great news.
Are we going to be responsible for storing that in the interim? I mean, if they're delivered, you said at the end of the year, but not installed until next year, is each town going to be responsible for storage on that?
I think the company itself will work that out with us. I think
Okay,
they'll
I just
hold
wanted
it.
to give, I mean, heads up to whoever.
Yeah,
You did.
we'll for sure get that info out of, Shannon will be all over that.
Okay.
Stellar plan update.
Just a fall newsletter went out on our website, kind of recapping ribbon cuttings and the opening of the first apartment building at the Paddocks. And then MCDC also distributed that through their network of contacts. So.
Do we think we might do a ribbon cutting at the Paddocks with IHCDA interested in that, or?
that was where we left it. Kevin Berger and I had discussed it and offered to help coordinate that. And last I knew, he was reaching out to them, but hadn't heard back. And I think around that time, I know some of the state agencies kind of shut down travel. So
Yeah.
I'm not anticipating that we'll be able to get them. If we do anything yet this
Okay.
year, it'll probably be without them.
Okay, that makes sense. All right. Anything else for?
That's all I have for those two.
All right. Town managers report?
See, under utilities, here we have 3 E&B change order requests for South Main and Davis. Number 1 was approving extending the completion deadline to November 15th. And the main reason for that was NIPSCO gas relocations that when we first started the project, we didn't know whether or not they would be necessary or not, and that kind of slowed things down there before they could actually even get started in September. Change order number 2 was adjusting structure heights, modifying a manhole and changing pipe sizes near the intersection of Main and Davis, and that was done to avoid a conflict with existing utilities. And then number 3 was the amount approved last meeting for additional sidewalk and street work. So just as kind of a summary on the project, the bid amount came in lower than our engineer's estimate that we used for budgeting last year. So overall, these changes can be covered from existing budgeted town grant, CRC, and utility funds. So the total between all 3 is $27,448, and again, this was about a $900,000 project. So by percentage, not too bad. Again, we would have preferred not to see any, but I think number 2 was, I think, in large part a victim of kind of the NDOT schedule and how that worked. With a short time frame between when they make the award and when it has to be under contract, the engineering had to be done quicker than we would have liked to normally do it, and that led to them basically missing that conflict at Main and Davis. And I'll say the amount on that one, I think I mentioned this before to you all, but the final number that we settled on is much lower than what was originally proposed. And I think Bob's on this call. I think I saw his name on here. If not, I'll say it anyway. But Bob Porter did a great job handling that and working with the contractor as well as the engineering firm to kind of share some of the pain on that and bring the number down. So we were happy with where we ended up.
Thank you, Bob.
I'd make a motion to approve the change orders 1 through 3 on the South Main Street stormwater sewer project, the amount of $27,448.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sally?
Aye.
Thank you, Sally.
Last meeting, stormwater and utility rate studies came up, and just as a refresher, kind of before COVID, that was something the council had approved to review the stormwater fees. Our stormwater utility was established in 2009, and the rates were set at $2 per residential customer, $4 for a commercial customer, and $8 for a condo, hotel, or condotel customer. And the rates haven't changed since 2009. I spoke with Jeff last week, and he thought he would have a report ready shortly before the 11/24 council meeting, our next council meeting, and would be able to get that out to you and ask to be on the agenda tentatively for that night. I have a original draft from back in March when we were working on it, and as these things go, I mean, it is looking at an increase, but I'm not sure the amount yet. So as soon as I get that from Jeff, I'll get that out to you all for your review and consideration, but hoping to get it on the to get Jeff's presentation at least on the agenda for 11/24.
Okay.
Let's see. One thing that came up, I think, since I sent my report on Friday, we have a request to extend the memo of understanding from Maxacucky Adventure Sailing through next summer. And Amber and I both reviewed that and recommend the council approve it. So I would ask for a motion to approve the memo of understanding with Adventure Sailing and authorize the town council president to sign.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sally?
Aye.
And I have a special event permit request for let's see here, a fundraising event for the Marshall County Animal Shelter. It would be December 12th and involve closing Main Street between Jefferson and Madison to allow for some events in that area. It includes pet-friendly shopping downtown, dining, and the merchants there would like to hire a photographer and caricaturist for folks if they bring their pets out for that event to get a picture or drawing with them. So I'd ask for a motion to approve the special event permit for December 12th.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
then-
Sally?
Aye.
The only other note I had was just on Lake Max Trails Phase 3, just so you all are aware. Jenny and I and the consultant, Mike Reese, who's helped us on the design, have had some conversations with Culver Academies about the design. Some concerns they've had about the original design we had kind of agreed to with them over the last few years along Academy Road and State Road 10. They've asked us to look at some alternatives, and we're trying to get back with them on a couple options that we've come up with, either for an alternate route or where to go next. So hopefully we'll be able to get an answer from them soon and keep that project moving forward. And that's all I have for my report.
Thank you, Jonathan. Any questions for Jonathan on the town manager report?
Jonathan, one question, Davis Street,
Mm-hmm.
are they gonna be able to pave that?
Yeah, I don't, so the deadline is now the 15th and they've told us they're going to be able to meet it. They looked like they were down there ready to pave this morning, but I wasn't back down after 8
Okay,
o'clock,
so
so
it's,
should be this week and
okay.
Be done,
I was just
hopefully.
Concerned about the
The weather?
asphalt.
yeah,
plants
no,
closing.
everything, I think they were all there
Okay.
this morning as far as I could tell, so.
Jonathan,
Yes.
they have one side paved from,
Okay,
well, north of Wabash all the way down to Davis. So they look like they're in the process and going great guns so far.
Awesome. Thanks, Sally.
Yep.
Department head reports, starting with the EMS. I believe Jeff just came back to work recently. Jeff, are you on the line?
Yes, I am.
Hi, Jeff.
Hello. I have really nothing to really report. I do want to put a shout out to the entire staff stepping up. For the 2 weeks that I was gone, there was several shifts that needed to be covered, and a couple individuals really helped out tremendously to provide the coverage that was needed. It's going to be a rough couple of months here, but I have confidence we will be able to maintain as we're doing right now. And so I don't have much more to report other than I'll have something more probably the next meeting.
Great, thank you, Jeff.
Mm-hmm.
Is the fire department on?
It's not hiding in the back tonight.
Nope. All right. Wayne, looks like you brought some company tonight.
yes. First, I'd like to say it's been an exceptional year. I know it seemed like a long time. We actually had, in 2002, we had 2 people that had resigned, and it was 7.5 months of work. It's not really possible what is normal activity, I guess. But there were some issues, obviously, because of what's going on this year. But we narrowed it down, 2 people to hire. I'd like to introduce Culver and Watkins. Culver, David Plymouth. He's had a family, he's locally, he's been single, probably married someday.
All right.
For the contract thing?
Yeah.
So we hopefully like to call it background track, call it police.
phase 5.
Congratulations, yes.
Yes, yeah. Welcome.
I make a motion that we hire the 2 additional officers. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sally?
Aye.
Welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
We do have a long road ahead of us, and we're going to training, and that's for Alex started his yesterday, so he'll be out for 15 weeks. He's currently doing online stuff for 2 weeks, and he'll be leaving here in a couple of weeks. So we still have a ways to go, but we're working our way there. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much, and ask more stuff on this today.
Before you go on, I want to make sure that you and Chad and Alex understand how grateful we are that you guys hung in there through all of this. I mean, aside from being understaffed, and you throw the whole COVID mix into it, we appreciate you and the long hours that you've put in to pull off this year. So thank you very much. All right, now you can do your list.
I spoke to you before about the Central Square, which is CAD system. I've been in communication with them. I talked to Karen also and explained kind of what was going on. We still have some contracts to sign. So probably by the time they get that done, I mean, we're kind of waiting on the sheriff's department to get their thing finished up, but we're getting obviously later in the year. But they kind of relate to me, it's probably going to be late toward the end of the year before we sign contracts. We're probably not going to be invoiced until after the first of the year. So I would like to cover the funds that we originally had talked about, which was $2,787.86 for that cost from this year into next year. So just so you're kind of aware of what's going on, if that's okay with you.
Okay. So motion to approve the encumbrance?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sally?
Aye.
Just so you know, Marshall, the county council approved the sheriff's appropriation yesterday, and I assume that the commissioners will probably sign that new software agreement Monday. So you're right, that's about it. You got the right time.
Let's see, next thing. The cameras we ordered last spring, they are being put in today. Still not quite done with it. They're coming back tomorrow to finish it, but that's getting completed, so we should have that done before too long here. Which was already a pretty approved ordeal, so that's being done. Radios, we got our new radios, and I was really meticulous, like kind of going over the budget, and I talked to Karen. We will have some funding left over in the budget. Really felt I was in pretty good shape, and if it's okay with the council, I would like to purchase 2 more radios. I would still stay within the budget of this year's funding and stuff. And the cost will be, sorry to make any copies, $8,200, $868.76 will be that cost. And we wouldn't really need to encumber since the funding's there.
You just move it from one line item to another one, essentially. Okay. Do you want a motion to approve that, Karen, since it's?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sally?
Aye.
Thank you, Sally.
Obviously, since the year's month the way it is, I'd like to request that council would reimburse us for our vacation holiday and personal time. We pay for that.
Are you suggesting doing it the same way as last year? I don't
We
know.
wouldn't have to carry it over, but Carrie and I kind of talked about it.
Okay.
We're done by the end of the year.
Okay, so you could just get paid out for it this calendar year and be square again in January?
Yes.
Okay, do you have a motion to approve that?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sally?
Aye.
All right.
Any questions?
That would be Jake, Sally's dog. Jake approves as well.
Yes.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Wayne.
Thank you.
Congratulations, you finally have your 5.
Yeah.
And congratulations to Chad as well. Okay, we'll go back to Amber. Any other park reporting, Amber?
Yeah, just the last thing is, I have a proposal from Seller Services for the park lights again. That includes the park fence, the trees, and the Culver signs for a total of $3,537.25. The exact same amount it was last year, and that puts it in perspective at all.
How will it vote?
Yes, yep, for the tree lighting.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Sally?
Aye.
That's all.
Okay, thank you, Amber. Bob, are you on the line?
I think I lied. I don't see his name on there now.
Okay, no worries. I think you covered them. Boards and commissions, is anyone reporting from the Plan Commission or BZA? Okay, we'll move on to the Redevelopment Commission.
Nothing really to report. Our next meeting is Monday at 5 PM, the 16th.
Okay. Is anyone on the line reporting for the Tree Commission? All right, we'll move on to clerk's report.
I've got a few items. 2 claims over $2,000 for your approval. Weir's International Trucks for 2025-21, and that was EMS for repairs on one of the ambulances. And then Tim Uhas, $8,673.75, and that's for peer removal. If I could get your approval on that.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Sally?
Aye.
And then 2 meetings ago, you asked for a bond capacity study, and Baker Tilly went ahead and just took care of it. So I don't have any proposals to present, but I do have a number. So based on Jeff Rao's calculations, our bond capacity for a general obligation bond would be $1,197,568. But he is advising that we set back, do 100,000 less, or for any type of project, subtract 100,000, because we would bond, like bond counsel, all of the other extraneous costs that take to do a bond issue.
Give me that number again.
1,197,568.
Thank you.
So, and that's based on the assessed value of the town, and they have different calculations, which I provided to you. Yes.
Karen, does that include the bond capacity for the redevelopment commission?
It was only for the general obligation bond for the town.
Thank you.
So
So that's good to know, and that he just did it for us?
he just did it.
That was nice of him.
It was pretty straightforward calculations, so,
Yeah.
yeah. So, but on top of that, I was talking with him, and we haven't done a utility rate study in several years, which I mentioned at the last council meeting.
Uh-huh.
He did provide a proposal, and I'm not gonna say the number, I did provide it to you. So I don't know if that's something that you want to consider, going forward with. But I don't necessarily need a decision tonight, but just for your consideration at the future meeting. And then the last thing I have is I applied for the CARES reimbursement for the town. And I think I submitted the application at 3:30, and I had a affirmative response by 5:05.
Wow,
So we received the check yesterday.
wow.
So that we have used up all of our CARES funding, or the CARES fund
is not reimbursed.
All right, there you go.
Good job. Thank you, Karen. That's
And
good
all I
news.
have.
Nice to know when government works quickly.
They don't have to give that money out.
Great. Attorney's report.
Not too much to report. I hadn't heard anything from Kathy Russell. Jonathan, have you heard anything?
No, I tried to contact her and haven't heard.
Pardon me?
I did send her an email last week and did not get a response
Well, and
back.
I tried to call and left a message, and then I sent an email, and I haven't heard anything from her either, so no news on that. 415 Lakeshore Sheriff's Sale rescheduled to January 26th. They don't have a sheriff's sale in December in Marshall County.
Okay.
So January 26th, and this isn't really part of an attorney report, but as a Marshall County citizen, I'm glad you spent the money for the tree lights, because I love to see them with the holidays, and I really needed it this year.
Yeah, right. Ditto that, Jim.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Is anyone here for a utility shut-off or ordinance violation? All right, we will move on to citizen input. We'll start with people in the room. Any citizen input? Yes, sir.
I think most of you know me, I'm Rod Ringer from Ringer's Golf Carts. I just have a question for all of you. You're upping the permit fee from $40 to $60. Where does it stop? I mean, next year, if somebody comes up and says, you know what, I think we need a little more money. Do you raise it $20 more? Do you raise it $40 more? I'm just trying to figure out why this is going up. When Plymouth doesn't even, you don't even have to have a permit there. Stark County is $25, Argus is $20, and we're going up to $60. Now, I know most of you, it may not be a big deal to some people, but to us, that's a huge deal. We're gonna have probably 15 golf carts permitted, maybe. I don't know if we'll even permit them all now. But I think there needs to be something to say, okay, if we raise it $60, let's do it for 5 years. Not, let's raise $60 and then next year, we need more money. And nobody here has even told us where this money's going. Now, I understand it costs money for police officers. I totally understand that. But it can't be $60 for a permit. That's just my opinion. And last time, we didn't get the second reading. We missed that, so now we're here at the third reading. And things have changed, and I'm not sure what happened to change those things for our business. But it's really going to affect our business. And one of the board members said when we were here last time, well, it's not going to affect ringers because they'll just pass it on to it is going to affect ringers because we're going to have to raise our rates. And when we raise our rates, the people that did come in paying X amount, they may not rent a golf cart off us now because it may be too much money. And again, $20 to most people is not that much, and it's not that much to me. To be honest, $400 to me is not that big a deal. It's the principle of where does this permit fee stop? And that's just, I would like that answered. I'm not sure if you guys can even answer that for me.
Well, I voted no against it for that very reason, and that I didn't get my way.
Yeah, I understand
So
that.
I don't have an answer for you, but if anyone wants to respond, feel free. But that was the sticking point for me.
We're a business trying to do good in the town of Culver. And to be honest with you, it doesn't seem like the board here really cares too much about our business. Now, I'm not saying you all don't. That's not what I'm trying to say, but that's the feeling we get. And I really don't understand it. I'm not real happy about it, but you know, you guys have a job to do and I understand that too. I really do. So, but thank you for everything, guys.
We did make some changes on second read after discussion. Sally and I fought the fee a little bit, pushed back on that. And I think they settled on 60 at some point, which is why we voted no. But I think that, you know, just to defend the council, there was a feeling that some of these funds could go toward the increasing cost of emergency services, police having to deal with a lot more of them on the roads. We know the cost for our deputy clerk is not significant, at probably, less than $10 per permit. But I think that was one of the things they considered was the police department. And I was for even a higher fee at one point in time until the public input on it. So I kind of see both sides of it myself, but that's why I voted against it.
Also, at the second read, we eliminated the discount for the businesses.
Yes, we felt from a business standpoint and a usage that your carts are being used the same way a personal residence cart is used. You still are taking the privilege of taking it out on the street, so we made that fee the same. And then I think we had one other modification maybe was.
We moved the horse-draws up to the 80,
Yeah.
so that it was across the board even.
Yeah. Usually when there's an ordinance and it passes on first read, if someone votes against it, you can't pass it on second read the same time. You have to go to another round. So that's why we got all the way through 3 full reads on it, because there were people voting against it. But that's just how it turned out, 3-2. But there was a lot of debate.
I totally understand that.
Yeah.
I do, but with our business and with us having to pay more in permit fees, we will not be able to give to the community as much as we did. Because everybody's knocking on our door for donations, and we pride ourselves in giving to everybody that comes. But I've got to be honest, we will not be able to do that this year. And we will pick and choose the people that we give to this year. And my wife wanted to be here, but she's in PTO meetings. She's the president. She's really disappointed she could not be here. I don't think she'd be real disappointed because there's not a whole lot that's going to be done that we can do tonight. But she wanted to be here, but she couldn't be. But we take pride in this community, and it's disappointing to us. Plain and simple. It's just disappointing to us. So.
Any other citizen input here? Yes, sir?
I don't know why they couldn't come up with just a business rate for so many
Name.
cars. per-
Yeah, can you say your name for Karen's minutes?
Pardon me?
Could you say your name for the minutes?
Frank Staley, 221 East Davis Street. I don't see why you couldn't come up with a business rate for so many carts per business. Make it at 15, make it at 20, whatever. If he decides to go up to 30 carts per rental, then his price goes up. Just as a business rate, because those carts aren't going out on a daily basis as the carts of the people in town use them.
Okay, that's fair. Any other citizen input? Yes, Rich?
As a citizen, as opposed to a council member, the visitor center, as the council knows, and it's very fortunate, and the board appreciates the fact that the council and the town supports the visitor center with a grant of $14,000 a year. This year, because of the reduced activity and the visitor center board, at my request, has decided that we will not apply for the fourth quarter payment. And we'll waive that $3,500 fee for the visitor center. Our expenses were down this year. The town's expenses were up this year with various programs and things that occurred, and the visitor center just felt in good conscience that it wasn't urgent that we needed that money right now, so we were not going to apply. We're going to waive the application for the fourth quarter.
Okay, great, thank you, Rich. That's nice. Is there any citizen input on the phone call tonight?
This is Charlotte Hahn. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I just wanted to shout out to Bob Porter's crew. They've really done a great job with the leaves. They've been up and down the street many times, and they did a great job.
Thank you, Charlotte. Any other citizen input from the online crew? Okay, we have a hand in the room. Mr. Staley, go ahead.
I don't know whether I'm speaking out of turn here or not, but I live on Davis Street. We all know what's going on down there. And at the end of Davis Street, I have access to the lake, and I have
in recent prior years, built a knee wall along my patio down there. And due to the excavation of the two 25-inch lines that went down to the lake along that knee wall, it has been undermined, and there are landscaping bricks that have cracked all the way through. And there is the cap on it, which used to be tight, is now separated. And I just wanted to bring it up and find out whether there's any plans on the repair of that. I brought Sellers down there, because Sellers was the original builder of that, to take a look at it. And so he would have an estimate for repair. I don't know whether it's been brought up, whether you're aware of it or not. I saw the white dots up and down the street that separated what the excavators were paying for and what the town was paying for in the way of sidewalks, but there wasn't anything down there on that knee wall at all. So I'm wondering if the town's aware of it and whether or not they're planning on repairing that.
I know Bob and I had seen it, obviously, and have both talked to the contractor and do feel like it's their responsibility to make that right with you, essentially, is where we both left it. And we're waiting to hear back from them on how they're going to take care of that. The one thing Bob's also asked them to do is contact each homeowner. They have a sheet, a form that NDOT usually uses on these kind of projects that says, you know, if they were over the right-of-way line or the town property line, to have each property owner sign off and say that they're happy with how things were left, how things were cleaned up and repaired, and that we won't recommend releasing our final payment until that's been cleared up. So that's where we've left it with them right now.
So they're gonna have to contact me and see whether I'm happy with that or not. Is that just what you said?
That's been Bob and I's request with E&B Paving, the contractor, yes.
Okay, because, you know, I see things starting to wind down there. And so I was very concerned as
And I
whether,
just sent him those.
get lost.
I just sent them those forms yesterday, so I doubt they've approached anyone yet, but that's the message that Bob and I had given them several weeks ago.
Okay, so you are aware of it.
Yes.
That's what I really wanted to make sure. Thank you.
Okay, any other citizen input? All right, I'll move on to council issues. Bill Giffens, any council issues?
No, ma'am.
Bill Clevenger, any council issues?
No, except that I'd like to give recognition to Wayne and Chad for a job well done. I know it wasn't easy. And they worked very hard on this, and I think that we have two good new hires, and I think I'd just like to extend or have the council extend their appreciation to Wayne and Chad.
Thank you, Bill. Sally Ricciardi, any council issues?
Not at this time, thank you.
Thanks, Sally. Rich, any council issues?
No, not now.
Okay, I just wanted to let you guys know about one thing. Jonathan's emailed you about it if you haven't read it yet. Earlier today, some of the health officials met with the Marshall County Crossroads team. Chad Towner, the CEO of St. Joe, Dr. Holland, the chief health officer for the county, and Eric Holstapel, who's the administrator at the hospital, and then Lisa from the health department. I don't remember her last name, sorry.
Letzinger?
Yes. They basically approached the Marshall County Crossroads team, which you guys know is kind of a cross section of county representation, and basically said that the COVID numbers in our county are majorly spiked. We are hitting a point where 1 out of 100 people in the county has COVID. They are falling short on hospital beds because the beds are getting very full of these patients, to the point that they're canceling surgeries now. So they approached us in terms of trying to get the message out that we cannot be complacent about gatherings and masks and washing hands and social distancing and those sorts of things. what they're finding is that most of these cases are not occurring in controlled environments like the school where kids are required to wear a mask. What they're seeing is that oftentimes cases are coming from outside. So if a student is getting it, it's because that student probably gathered at a wedding or a reception or a family event or some sort of thing. So the concern is that with this rapid increase in the beds being full, they want to amplify this message of it is time to slow down on the gatherings. And if you are in a gathering, even if it's your family wearing a mask, this was the message pretty much that they sent us. They're asking us to get involved in getting that message out. So we wanted to share it with the council. There's probably going to be some campaign of some sort, PR on this. Also probably some town hall style meetings, some school convocations like that are virtual or Zoom sessions to help get that word out. I think the general message was the health officials are concerned enough that they do want to get the message out. Otherwise, they're going to start recommending going back to much stronger restrictions. So Jonathan and I were in that meeting, and
I was just going to say, and there was a Indiana State Health Department call last night with some of the same folks in other hospitals around us, covering, I think, 3 or 4 counties where, again, kind of the same message. All those hospitals are experiencing the same thing that we heard this morning from Plymouth and Mishawaka, but that one of the administrators from another hospital basically was recommending almost moving back a stage, right? That they were really pushing the communities, the counties, or the state who were all on the call to consider some of those policies again. So
heads up, Brett.
Yeah.
Ginny, are you thinking then about going back to what you had done earlier?
Where we had virtual meetings for council and rotating the employees in town hall, that sort of thing.
Well, I was thinking about, are we going to go back to virtual meetings and what's your message to the public? I mean,
Yeah, I think that would be the preference of the health officials, that we gather as little as, only when absolutely necessary was the take. That we consider our own policies and start thinking through how to prevent large gatherings. One of the examples given today was a family of about 20 for the past several months. They meet once a week for dinner, and they've been doing this for years. And 8 of those family members got COVID and 1 passed away. And that's someone we all know here in the county who's been through that. That was one of the examples they gave was it's only 20 people. You think it's just your family and everyone's okay, but that's the sort of example they want people to know about, that it's still a possibility that just because you're with family and there's only 20 of you doesn't mean you won't deal with this virus.
And I think the other message was that, well, they've expanded the number of beds there and there's already a lack of capacity with beds, that they're struggling with human resources too. So they gave us the number, a considerable percentage of their doctors and nurses that are out right now that are either isolating at home or actually have it. And even if they could add more beds, they've told us they don't have the staff to take care of more COVID patients. And for every COVID patient they're getting, that means that's one less, person with some other ailment, a heart attack or, surgery or whatever that they can take care of. So,
I mean, I think that, and it's within the regulations of the state and the county, that local jurisdictions can impose more stringent requirements than either the state or the county does. I mean, I think we should look at moving back to, I think the remote meetings is one, but I think we should also reduce the size of group gathering, and shows the number of people at public gatherings that were in place earlier. And because of the weather, there probably won't be as many outdoor activities, but at one point, and I hate to suggest it, but I mean, one point the restaurants were at 50%. I don't know where they're at now. I mean, now I don't think there's any, like for events that may be scheduled here in the beach lodge, if there's any restriction on the numbers there. The exercise classes that are occurring here. I mean, at one point, I think there was a restriction or cap of perhaps 10 people on some of those meetings. And I don't have an exact number to recommend, but I think the longer we wait to do something, the more drastic whatever we do is going to have to be. And the sooner we do something that can sort of break the chain, the better off we're going to be. I hate to see us put it off for too long. Are you getting the sense we're going to get leadership from the county on this, or?
I can tell you that there's plans to meet Friday. I know the county's gonna try and do something to tighten, or to, the governor has a mask mandate, but it's kind of not enforced. And I think the county's trying to weigh its options into enforce more use of masks, but it's a little tough. There's not a state statute or whatever on it, but I think they've had in place a mask for facilities. I think they're gonna try to enforce it somehow.
That should be, I don't know the answer. I know what we can control what we're doing. We can make sure our employees are safe in terms of, we could go back to town hall, or, I mean, I'd like to know recommendations from you guys on that. I think our EMTs are trying to socially distance because they deal with patients and exposure. Generally, we only have 1 or 2 police officers on at a time anyway. I'm imagining you spend a lot of time in a vehicle. But I do think we have to decide, do we want to keep meeting like this, or should we go back to virtual for a while? If there are certain things we can do to avoid gathering but still conduct business, I think that's probably something to consider. Any thoughts on that? Or do you want to see where the county goes this week and where the Crossroads team? I think they're going to do some campaign, get a different type of messaging out. I think people are really tired and they're just over it. So I can understand why people are just kind of going. Part of it to me is people know the risk at this point and they're okay with the risk. So, because they're just over the whole thing. And I don't know how we convince people to don't be over it, don't risk yourself. But the bottom line is I do think people are tired of it and have become somewhat complacent about it. I don't blame them. It's been months and months of this, right? So how do you can have a mask mandate or 20 different rules. If someone says, I'm willing to take the risk and I'm over it, I don't know how you deal with that. It's not like we can ticket every person not wearing a mask.
No, but, and I don't think the mask mandate is enforceable either. I mean, I think it would be nice if it was, but it was not. But I think within our buildings and within the things we can control, we should take actions on those.
Right.
Be realistic. A mask mandate, even if they establish it at the county level or the state level, I mean, that our police officers have better things to do than to
Yeah.
people with masks or without masks. But I mean, again, I think we should address the things we can address. The size of groups that gather in town, the number of people that can be in our public buildings, what our staff do in terms of rotating or at the town hall and then in other departments.
Well, let's take a look at policy we wrote earlier this year that was much stronger than current policy, and have Karen and Jonathan talk to the supervisors and get back to us on a recommendation. If we need to call an emergency council meeting by end of week, we can certainly do that.
I mean,
It's not like the
we
biggest
have facility
fee you've ever
rentals,
seen.
and then the
Biggest
yoga
fee
is
for
it.
loss.
And then the,
It's like a
on Wednesdays, they have lunch.
covering of the profit.
It's like a group of 10 people. But
So anyway, the B is not concerned at all. But let's go back and look at policy again and see if we want to revert back to where we were at in March as
Yeah.
far as,
I think we could try
Local
to send
goes?
something out to the council by Friday, if that sounds okay, and then you guys, we can determine if we need to have a special meeting next week. Or...
yeah,
I mean, you want to see what you said there's a county meeting on Friday also.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised the governor doesn't do something.
That's the other
Yeah.
thing, right? I see something tomorrow.
I'm not sure what he's gonna do, but
and they're clearly having some meetings at this stage. So let's get, John, if you can send us back the policy we had when we started, see what happens by Friday. If we need to call a special session, just be ready for it. If that's all right. If you guys do have a date, you know you're not going to be around in the evening, let us know. But I'm sure we could still get a quorum. So, any other issues? Motion to adjourn to claims?
So moved. Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Good
See you, Sally.
night.